pitch. Let's put that all into the context of this weekend's games then. Chelsea with the 2-1 win at Leicester. Arsenal back on form with a 3-0 victory at home to Nottingham Forest. It finished Aston Villa 2, Crystal Palace 2. Villa came from a goal down twice in that game. It finished Bournemouth 1, 10-man Brighton 2, 10-man Brentford with a 0-0 draw away at Everton, and Fulham beaten 4-1 at Craven Cottage by Wolves. And then that shock result at the Etihad where Manchester City were beaten 4-0 by Tottenham. And that's particularly significant because also today on Super Sunday, earlier on, Liverpool beat Southampton by 3-2. We've just watched Ipswich's 1-1 draw against Manchester United. You can see all the goals on the Sky Sports app. Best way to get there is to scan the QR code that you can see on your screen right now. It'll take you straight there. One game still to come, of course, Newcastle against West Ham on the Monday Night Football. But this is how the table looks as things stand. It is a point for Ipswich. It takes them to level on points with Wolves, but they stay inside the bottom three. Manchester United stay inside the bottom half of the table. They've moved on to 16 points. Meanwhile, at the top end, Liverpool are now 8 points clear of Manchester City. The goal difference with a difference of 11 as well, with Chelsea and Arsenal making up third and fourth places. Brighton, though, level on points with both of them on 22, and then a little gap opening up to Tottenham, Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa on 19 points each. Big night of NFL coming your way on Sky Sport. In charge of Manchester United. Here are the stats from that game. The highest Ipswich XG so far this season. Manchester United with 11 shots, 4 of them on target. Only one of those came in the second half. Their XG of 0.9 is their third lowest of the season. The distance that they ran of 102 kilometres, their second lowest of the season. But it finished all square at Portman Road. Roy, there hasn't been a lot of time for Ruben Amorim to put in all the changes that he'll want to see from this Manchester United side. Did you see what he will want to do in the future?
Yeah, well, we saw obviously the shape of the team. That's the way he's going to go. But you still have the same players out there and the same problems. And we talk about leopards and spots. The issue with United over the last year or two: lack of goals, lack of quality in the second half. We're looking at Ipswich, who haven't won all season at home, and they looked a better team. And if any team was going to win, you felt Ipswich were going to win it. So I think it's his first game, a lot to take in. It's been a mad week or two for him, but I think ultimately he'll be disappointed. I think again with the lack of quality in the final third for Man United, and towards the end of the game, if anyone was going to win it, I thought it was going to be Ipswich, which is a big concern.
Roy has described Manchester United at times this season as a team of moments. They're looking for consistency. Does this look like a squad who can get to those levels of consistency?
Well, I think, you're spot on with the moments comment, because I think that what I haven't seen in this Manchester United team for a long time is like relationships. Players that combine well with each other, players that create things, off the cuff, but also by design as well. And they've got a manager in now who's got a record for design. He's got this system that he believes heavily in, that he wants to bring to Manchester United. We saw it this evening. Did it work? No, because they didn't win. And ultimately, I think what Ruben Amorim wants to be doing is he wants to be winning whilst learning on the job with this group of players. Did he have his best available 11 out today? No. But I think we have to give huge credit to Kieran McKenna and Ipswich, because I thought that the way they played, it was exceptional at times. I thought they were brave, that they didn't let the heads drop. And I think ultimately they showed Manchester United, how it looks to be a team that's connected.
We will look at Ipswich in more detail, because it was a really, really good performance from them, and we'll talk more about the influence that Kieran McKenna has shortly as well. But in terms of Ruben Amorim and the stamp that he wants to put on Manchester United, and the problems that he has to solve, is goal scoring the biggest one, Jamie?
Yeah, of course they've not got enough goals. They've got quality in the team, but there's a lot of problems you have to solve. And I'm already fed up talking about this system that he's going to employ. I am. It's because
day one, Jamie.
But Kelly, this is the players that are in this system right now are not going to be the players in the future. You're not going to see Johnny Evans as a left side centre back. You're not going to see Mazraoui. You're not going to see the two wing backs probably, who obviously they're both opposite footed and they're playing on the outside. Is that midfield going to be Casemiro and Eriksen? Of course it isn't. So you're going to try and analyse it. It's almost pointless, because the system is going to change, because the players are going to change and the personnel, and then they're going to look better. In a way, the best thing that can probably happen is not get fooled by these players right now. Because after 2 minutes, we're looking and thinking, wow, the Messiah's here, everything's going to change, look how good they look. But then they became their true self in the end, and they see that the quality isn't there. So this is going to take time. It's going to take new personnel. He's going to have to figure it out. He's going to be changing the team probably week in, week out, searching for who is going to be the right people in this system. And once he gets that, then he has a chance. But right now, you couldn't pick the team that's going to be there in 6 months because you don't know who's going to fit into what he wants.
Yeah, there are a lot of players in that side who, again, to go back to the point, have moments of quality in them. Are there enough players in the squad who have quality consistently?
No, that's the big problem. Again, this team for last year too, it's all about moments. We saw with the first goal after the minute, you think, well, listen, great start, a bit of quality, a bit of pace, nice finish from Marcus, getting into the areas you want him to be. And then United just sat back and you're going, you almost feel like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Ipswich are a team near the bottom, obviously on the back of a good result at Spurs, but the home record not great. Go after them as if United are almost fearful of going on to win the game. The manager obviously made lots of changes in the second half, and to be fair, you're thinking, listen, he's obviously trying to win the game and he's still trying to get to know these players. But I suppose at United, the position of the league, their results, they probably maybe lack that confidence and belief. But do I believe this group of players have the quality to start getting Man United back up towards top 4, top 5? I've been saying it for ages. Absolutely not. The evidence isn't there. And again, today we come down, you're thinking new manager, new bunks and all this, it's all very positive. But then when the game starts and it's the same old stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Very predictable and really lack of quality.
And again, what we should say is this isn't on Ruben Amorim, who's taking charge of his
he's had
first
2
game,
or 3 days,
who is
Kelly.
also, Jamie, on his way over to talk to us.
But he's had 2 weeks to. Well, he's been in the job 2 weeks, but you've got to remember everyone's been away on international duty. This is going to take time. He's under no illusions. But the good thing is he's going to learn about the players week in, week out. He's obviously coming now. We're going to have a chat with him, and I'll be interested to see how he thought the game went.
Sorry.
Ruben, thank you so much for coming over to talk to us. Good to meet you, Kelly. Hi, Ruben. Look, first game in charge of Manchester United. You've had a couple of weeks to work with some of the players that haven't been on international duty. So what did you learn about them over that 90 minutes?
It's a tough league. What you learn in the first moment, a good environment. I think my players were thinking too much during the game. You can feel it. They were thinking not just in the ball, but where I supposed to be, and that is hard. With 2 days, because all the team together, just 2 days. We need more. I think in the first half, the physicality, because they leave us 1 against 1 in front, so we have to use that moment to feel the opponent, but it's a tough match. I think we lost some balls without pressure, and when you start a game like this, you score 1 goal, and then you have to control the ball. You have to control the tempos of the game. We cannot do it at the moment, but they tried. They really tried. I know this is for some guys, it's hard to understand this, but they are really trying, and they want this.
When you talk about the players maybe thinking too much, is that because they're thinking about what you want from them, what you've asked them to do, and the differences from what they're used to doing?
That's the reason. That's really that reason. But we have 2 ways. So we try to win games and don't risk nothing in this moment. And I guarantee next year at the same stage we will have the same problem. So you have to try to since the first moment we will have problems. The players will be like confused sometimes, but we have to address since this moment the new.
Yeah, obviously you're still getting to know the players, but you're also hoping for a proper football intelligence from some of the players, decision making. Would that be a concern?
I think that is a concern, but because you can understand, you don't need to coach them, because at this level you have to keep the ball, know the momentum of to put the ball in front, and you sometimes you feel that you can't keep the ball and you put the ball in front. Then you have like we are in the end of the game, you are rounding the box with 2 strikers, with Josh has to understand that he has to go to the box to have the crosses. So we are doing some things that not in the right moment. So that is something that we have to address. Sometimes it's not the every people talk about the 3-4-3, that is not the concern. A system is a system, but the understanding of the game, I think we have to improve a lot in this area.
You speak about the system, and obviously it's been the talk of the town since you arrived with this system. But what have you seen from the players in this last week of training which has impressed you the most, and what do you want to take forward from today's game?
The most important thing, again, it's hard to understand, but they want this. Sometimes they don't know how to get it. That was my feeling. You can say that it's 3 trainings if they are not excited at the moment, so we have a big problem. Then you start discovering things. I didn't know. I think Garna can hold the ball between lines. You can understand that by seeing the games because he's always open. So you try to find these things. Bruno Fernandes, I think he improved his game by playing near the ball, feeling the ball. So he can give us like sometimes the long pass. But you cannot put him there all the time because he wants the long pass all the time. So we try to find things about the players, and we will need a lot of time to work out these things.
Ed Sheeran's come to join us. Ed, we're just chatting to Ruben Amorim, who may not want to talk to an Ipswich fan. It was, but from an Ipswich point of view, it was almost perfect. So
I loved it. I love being back in the Premier League.
Yeah. Oh, we're really glad to hear from you.
You're going to come and say hello in a minute? We'll have a chat to you. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, well done, mate. Good to
We'll see you again in a second. Thank you very much, Ed.
Look, Ruben, I was just
it's
going to say,
unpredictable when
sorry,
we're
I was just
pitchside.
going to
But
say,
Jamie,
so your team today ran 102 kilometres. It's the second lowest this season for your team, for Manchester United. But I know when I saw Sporting and that your stats and your high intensity running was through the roof. Absolutely one of the best in Europe. Is that something that has to change for you to compete?
Yeah, if you see the first half, we were a little bit afraid. The number 5 was always alone, and we have to jump on him. Then the number 20, Hutchison, was always here in the dead space. Johnny Evans should be pressing that guy. But then when we don't have training, and it's hard to say all the directions to the players, we had 2 days. So they are confused a little bit, and they stay here. If you stay here, you don't run. You don't defend, you defend, but you don't run. So you feel that in data, but we have to understand the data, to see the data, and understand what happened in the game. First, they have to understand the game. Then we have to be so much better physically to cope with the high pressure, the volume of the high-speed running, all these things. But we need time to work these things.
Ruben, one of the things that you're going to learn as Manchester United manager is the number of media commitments that you have after a game. So we're going to let you go. So thank you very much for coming over to talk to us.
I want to say this is the last time this week I spoke more than 4 years in Sporting, and then when you speak too much and you don't win, it's really hard for everybody. So it was 1 week, and only 1 week I spoke with Andrew. I just want to work with my players, nothing more. But I understand this is a different game here, so let's see.
Thanks for coming out to talk to us. Thank you, Ruben. Thanks. And actually, bye, thank you. Actually, and he does very graciously with the interruption. Well, we've got time for him now if he wants to come in.
When we need him.
Gone back to the bar, I think.
Look, I know you're sick of talking about the system.
Not Kelly,
But also, Ruben
he
Amorim
said
is like,
that.
look, everybody's talking about the system. But it was the system that led to the first goal, because it was the flying wing back, and it was straight to the try.
Yeah, and that was a positive start they had.
Yeah.
But also, he's seen the other side here. I've been a Man United manager. The demands. Yeah, he's a coach. He's a coach, and obviously that's his job title. But we saw at the start of the game, I bet you couldn't have dreamed of a start like this. The first minute of the game, very attacking, positive football, players running, exciting young players of Man United, brilliant play. And we get Rashford, who we've been critical of a little bit, not getting enough goals. A dream start. But we see the manager, the pressure at Man United to Sporting, chalk and cheese.
And they've been struggling for goals so far this season. Look, as much as that may not have been the cleanest of contact from Amad Diallo, it was an early goal for Manchester United, and it did come from that setup. Is that one of the positives that you were asking Amorim about, that he can take forward?
Yeah, without doubt. And I think that this goal comes from design. The way that they built out from the back. We speak a lot in football about building from the back, but there's got to be a purpose. And ultimately, that's the perfect goal, because they've actually scored from a goal kick essentially. And that is a benefit of that system. I mean, we're not just talking about Ruben Amorim and, coming to United and playing a 3-4-3. That other managers do play a 3-4-3 as well. We're just analysing it a lot because it's Manchester United.
Yeah.
But
We hadn't seen them by that point, so we had to talk about something.
Exactly. And we needed to speak about the change that was going to occur because the new managers come in and there's going to be change and we're all fascinated by that. But ultimately, he would have been, delighted with that start, and it comes from exactly that. They're playing out, they're direct, they had runners, intensity, but for some reason they just dropped off after that goal and they reduced the intensity and then it showed in the game.
It'd be interesting to see as well when did this system going forward, whether you will have whether the two like Dalot and Ahmad will be, obviously Ahmad is left-footed and Dalot is predominantly right-footed, whether he wants to go that way or whether he'd want to go with left-footed wing-back or the right-footed wing-back and make it more of a natural thing. Obviously, with the way the game's progressed, normally your wingers, it's better because they come inside, but then you have full-backs overlapping them. So unless you get one of your three centre-backs coming out overlapping, I don't know how that's quite going to work. So that's going to be something we're only going to see as the personnel changes and what he gets in his place. There's going to be other players that he's going to look at and give them an opportunities. One thing I really like that he said there, which was really important, the good thing is he has to start now, straight away. Because if he waits and maybe he says, this team's been playing with a back four, and he has 6 months doing them, they're not going to change. So he might as well work on it now. And we have to accept that there's going to be some highs, some lows. It's not always going to be perfect. So I think that was the most sensible thing I took, certainly, from that conversation.
That's ideal, yeah. He has to go with the way he wants to go. Again, people say, you need a pre-season. No, you learn. You learn at weekends how tough it's going to be, because United have been so poor anyway. So if that's what he believes in, then go with it, obviously.
Sam Amari, well done. Sam, your manager said before this game that, in his opinion, this was the biggest game in the world this weekend and the eyes of the world were on it. So those watching, what would they have made of that Ipswich performance today?
I think we showed a mix of things, really. Disappointing not to get the win on reflection with the chances. I think their keepers made a couple of fantastic saves right from close range, but we've done well. We had to show our resilience at the end, and yeah, it's a point in the right direction.
Amari, Manchester United got off to the best possible start from their perspective, but how positive was the Ipswich reaction to going behind?
Yeah, that's what we do. If we go goal behind, I think we play even better. We get extra boost, and I feel like we get extra confidence when we go 1-0 down, and we just have to keep in it and stick together and show resilience, as Skip said, and yeah, hopefully the outcome comes positive.
You've scored a few special goals, particularly in that promotion push, and similar ones to that in the past. But how did you rate that one personally, and how crucial was the timing just before half-time?
Yeah, I've been working on it in training.
We've been waiting for that one.
We've been waiting for it. But yeah, I just want to help the team, goals and assists and my performances and trying to win games. Today was unlucky, but yeah.
Sam, how many have gone in training?
Yeah, he's got that quality. Loads go in. We've just been waiting for that first one, and now undoubtedly he's gonna score a lot of goals this season. He's gonna make a difference for us.
You mentioned you should have probably and could have won the game today. How much was that down to Liam Delap and his efforts today, and how good an old-fashioned centre forward is he?
Yeah, old-fashioned battering ram with real quality, real power. He's having a great season. He scored a lot of goals. He's had some good chances today, but equally the keeper makes some fantastic saves. So we won't be too hard on him on this occasion.
Amari, you got that all-important first Premier League win at Tottenham. Managers, coaches, players always say it's important that you back that up in your next game. Do you feel you've done that with that performance today?
Yeah, 100%. I always try to give 100% in my performances. As I said, working hard for the team on and off the ball. And I think I've been showing that in my games, and I just want to carry it on and keep performing.
Sam, just quickly and finally, do you feel Ipswich are becoming of age now back in the Premier League?
I think so, yeah. We've got good momentum. We're getting better and better. Obviously, we take each game as it comes. It's a really competitive league, but the big thing is we get points on the board and we keep improving, and that's the culture of the football club, to keep getting better. And within the next block of games, I'm sure we'll improve and get more points. Well, listen, well done to both of you, but Amari, especially well done to you. You are the player of the match. Practice, as I say, makes perfect. Keep going.
Thank you very much. See you later. Thank you.
We'll talk Amari Hutchison and we'll look at his goal in just a second. But overall, in terms of that performance from Ipswich, they were disappointed at the end not to take all 3 points.
Yeah,
that's what the players were saying.
Yeah, Ipswich would be delighted. Their confidence would have been up, obviously, on the back of the win against Spurs. They're 6 draws. They're still trying to find their feet. But I like what they saw. There was enough energy. There was enough quality. Of course, you're always hoping for the teams that just come up to more of a goal threat. Obviously, the manager made substitutions. I think Ipswich should be delighted. And you'd only get confidence in performances like that. In an ideal world, obviously, you want to win football matches, but to draw against Man United and compete with them and show quality, they'll be delighted, Ipswich. And they certainly at least deserve the draw.
Kieran McKenna's just coming to join us, so let's see the goal before he gets here from Amari Hutchison, and he had a little bit of help with the deflection.
A little bit of help, but he said he'd been working on it, and he found really good positions in his first half, just in that inside forward area there. Takes 2 good touches, and he hits it really well. Of course, he gets the deflection off Mazraoui, but I was very impressed with him. And Kieran McKenna's been playing him in a slightly different role now, more centrally. You know, up when he was a young man at Arsenal, at Chelsea, and I think it suits him in these areas where he's getting on the ball. And let's ask the gaffer himself. Good to see you.
Hi, Kieran. Nice to see you.
We're just talking about Amari here, and that position where you bought him in a bit centrally. Obviously, the Tottenham game was influential, and today had a big impact, and obviously got the goal.
Yeah, I thought he was a big threat first half. He's, of course, probably more naturally a winger. But for us, we feel like, you know, most teams are going to press us high, and then the space is in the middle of the pitch. And having a dribbler in the middle of the pitch who, you know, is really elusive and hard to pick up, he can be a big threat and still get into the final third. So I think that's his first goal in the Premier League. He'd be glad to have that one, you know, off his back, and he's improving.
Kieran, we heard from Amari Hutchison and Sam Morsey, and they were disappointed not to take all 3 points from the game. Are you the same? Do you think the performance deserved that?
Yeah, I think that's a healthy attitude for us to have, I have to say, and that's where I want us to be. Look, I think first half, of course, it was a blow conceding the early goal, but I thought as the half went on, we grew in the ascendancy and our intensity of our pressing and our work on the ball. We were the dominant team in the first half and, you know, deserved to be going in at least level. I think second half, to be fair, Man United had more control. It was difficult. We had to defend with real discipline on shape. And I thought we'd done that well. We didn't give up too many big chances. We had the big chance with Liam, and Connor had one at the end. So, look, I think it was a competitive game. We could have won. You could lose. We take the point, we take the positives, and we move on to next week.
So you're finding with every game, you're finding your feet. The players are adapting to the Premiership now. You're on the back of obviously 2 very good results and performances. They're getting better week in, week out, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can see it on an individual level, really. And we talked about pre-Tottenham, actually. You know, our first 2 games were Liverpool and Man United, and we didn't even have the Liverpool and Man City, and we didn't have the group together yet. So we spoke before the Tottenham game about, you know, it being similar to the Man City away game, and we need to manage the game better than we did when we played Man City away, and we handled Tottenham in that aspect really, really well. And we kind of linked today a little bit to the Liverpool game, which was, you know, 10 games ago we played Liverpool here, first game of the season. We, you know, give a really good account of ourselves. First half pressed them really, really well, but second half they ran away from us and we didn't have the answers. And I think you can see the growth in the team, because second half today, when the game got difficult, we were a little bit more mature, we defended on shape, we stayed disciplined, and we give ourselves a chance to stay in the game. So I think when you look at some of the little comparisons between some of our early games, I think there's some good progress.
There's a lot said at the moment about styles of play and, you know, systems and everything, but it seems like you've got something in the locker for everything, and you've got so much adaptability within the group. And it certainly looked tonight like your team grew into the game and almost took the game in the first half after conceding early on to Manchester United. You got them dropped off, and that's actually how you got the goal.
Yeah, being adaptable was always going to be big for us this year. To be fair, last year even it wasn't the Championship, you know, coming up from League One, so we weren't able to be as dominant as what we were in League One, but we still scored a lot of goals and played really attacking. This year we know has to be different. We have to find ways to be competitive. So sometimes that's us with the ball dominating, controlling the game. Sometimes it's us, you know, which happened at the end of the first half. We pressed really aggressively in the first half. We got caught out once or twice, but it was also part of us getting control in the game. And sometimes we have to defend, you know, with the whole team and be disciplined, and we did that in the second half. So, yeah, we're trying to be adaptable. We tried to, you know, bring in adaptable players as well who could deal with the physical nature of the Premier League, and then we're trying to mould it into a team that can be competitive each week, and we're getting there.
We talk about Liam Delap. I know I was talking to you midweek, and his performance today, and I think he showed what a proposition he is and how good he can be in the Premier League, and learning off of obviously what you do every day as well.
Yeah, he's coming along. He's enjoyable to work with. He still has to improve. He's got a lot to improve on. We're still on him about, you know, different little details all the time, but there ain't many like him, is there? You know, you look at his physicality, how he can use it back to goal, but he can still run behind. He can still drop in and take the ball. He can get himself in the box. His work off the ball is getting better. And he's very, very young. He doesn't look that young, but he's still very, very young. So he's coming on okay. Probably should have scored one today in the first half.
Not a great save, no? You
no,
think it's a
with the face.
No.
Oh, was it his hand? Yeah. Oh, it was a great save. From where I was, I thought it cracked him in the head. So, no, we'll give Onana credit for that. So, no, he's coming on.
You talk about the improvement in performances, collectively and as players. You've taken 4 points from Spurs and Manchester United in the last couple of games. It's Nottingham Forest up next, who've been a surprise to most. I know they lost yesterday, but have been a surprise to most people so far this season. And then it's 2 home games. Are you getting closer to getting that first home win of the season?
Yeah, we hope so. We hope so. We know we have to win some games here. And look, we're competitive in our home games. I think everyone who's been here will feel like it's a tough place to come and play. But we know we need to turn that into some home wins as well. And that's another step for us to take. But I don't think we're far away, to be honest. We've had 4 draws at home. We could make an argument we could have won all of them. Certainly, I think par course would have been we would have won 1 or 2. So yeah, we're not too far away. It's good to be competitive. It's good to not be easy to beat, not lose too many games. To win them regularly is another step. That's the step we're trying to take.
Kieran, thanks for coming out to talk to us.
You.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Kieran.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Cheers, Ezzy. Thanks. Nice one,
mate. Yeah, great. I think I've been very impressed with him. I've spent a little bit of time with him this week, and I think the question that Izzy asked him was a great question: adaptability and making sure that you are difficult to beat. You watch a lot of games in the Premier League with teams that come up and they play out from the back and they lose goals, and we all go, well, it's my philosophy. It can't be your philosophy if you're losing games. And what he's done is he realises we've got a big centre forward. At times, if we're under a bit of pressure, there's a moment 65 minutes into the game, I remember looking at the clock and I thought that it was a big, that they were just under a little bit of pressure, and he thought, let's alleviate that, let's go be direct, let's work on a second ball, and at times you have to do that. And to some that might sound a little bit old-fashioned, but that's what I would call knowing the game, football intelligence, and I think that's something that Ipswich do really well. They'll also play from the back when it's the right time, but when you're under a little bit of pressure in this league, and if you're going to give goals away, make sure that they have to really work hard for them. And that's something that I think he's done really well. And they've been in every game except for the West Ham one. I think his team have been excellent, Roy.
Yeah, he's very, very smart. Obviously, intelligent guy, and he's obviously got good grounding. And also the mindset for Ipswich. When you've had back-to-back promotions, you're used to winning week in, week out. Just to change that mindset, and also be, even a few draws they've had in the Premiership, be satisfied with that, because you're not going to win most weeks in the Premiership. So they've adapted that well with a difficult start. And I think they're going along nicely. And he spoke well, and they have adapted well. They are hard to beat, and that's a good starting position to have.
On adaptability and football intelligence, obviously he means that within the game, but it's also in terms of preparing for the game where his own football intelligence comes in, and he's had to do that with this Manchester United. We know what Ruben Amorim's system is going to be, but it's an unknown quantity. He's not seen it in action yet.
Yeah, of course. So it was probably strange for them, and for Man United having a new manager, and then for Ipswich to be a goal down after a minute or two. That could have set them back a little bit, but it showed a lot of maturity. And again, I'll go back to that football intelligence. They didn't panic. They worked their way back into the game. They deserved the equaliser. They probably should have scored just before that, and unlucky not to want to win the game. So Kieran will be delighted tonight with the group of players, the effort they've put in. Again, back-to-back promotions, coming up to the Premiership, the challenges they'd faced. They had a difficult start, some tough games, but they've kept a good spirit amongst themselves, and they're in with a chance of winning football matches.
I like the captain as well. Sorry, Izzy.
No,
I'm a big fan of Sam Morsy in midfield. You can see that he's obviously got that little bit of, in the nicest possible, he's got a bit of dog in him, and I like that. He goes and wins tackles, but he can also play in midfield. He gives you exactly the edge that you need. He does play on the edge, but you can see why the manager likes him, trusts him, and he's looked very comfortable in this league. Sometimes as a player, he's probably watched the Premier League last few years. Can I handle it? When I see these players, am I good enough to play? He's more than good enough, and I think he's been excellent in midfield. They were very combative, but they also kept the ball really well. I thought it was just a really good performance from Ipswich today.
Kieran McKenna said he hadn't seen some of the Onana saves back, so let's take a look at them and just to underline how good the chances that Ipswich managed to create were.
Yeah, this is brilliant from Leif Davis, finding himself in a really advanced position, a really intelligent little pass. The movement from Delap creates it. We get a fantastic angle. Here, this is Ahmed tracking back. He just doesn't get the line of the run correct, which, fair enough, because it's new to him playing that system. But listen, this save, you sit in two camps here. You sit in the camp of he has to bury that, and you sit in the camp of that is an exceptional save. And the way he pulls his hand out at the last minute, Onana, it was superb.
Yeah, he wasn't sure if one of them was quite the save that he thought it was, but he was asking.
If you're a striker, you think obviously to score from a goalkeeper's point of view. But again, good play from Ipswich. Nice and simple, effective football, getting the balls in the box, getting crosses. Just try a little flick, and again, all credit to the goalkeeper. Very good play, very simple, very effective. Get the ball wide, get crossed in the box. You've got a striker attacking it, and again, unlucky not to score.
I mean, he says Liam Delap is still improving. You asked about him, Jamie. Already, how impressed are you with him, even if there is more to come?
Yeah, Roy and I, we both played with his dad, and his dad was obviously a full-back midfielder at times. This guy is almost a throwback centre forward, number 9, but I really like how he plays. He's got great movement, he's energetic, he's brave, he's strong, he's a proper specimen as well. The size of him, he's so hard to push off the ball. This was a lovely piece of play in the second half. He plays a little one with the outside of his right foot here. But I was very impressed with him all game. He's a proper handful.
He was
and you can see he was excellent today, Roy, wasn't he?
You wouldn't want to play against him. I bet United defenders, knowing they've had a tough game again today against him. And all his work rate. Sometimes the players got a lot of work rate and are good outside the box and they're not great. He's got a bit of everything. He's got a bit of everything. Great potential, that kid.
You asked Kieran McKenna about improving and adapting to the Premier League, learning a little bit about it every week. Presumably that's because that's what you've seen from them. Are they learning quickly enough to kind of give them hope of staying up this season?
Yeah, of course. And it's not just kind of being polite to him. You see that in the results and the performances. Again, it's the first time I've seen him live, but you've seen games on the TV. And he goes back to the first game against Liverpool where they did look strong in the first half, but lost away. And you looked at it and went, oh, it's going to be a tough season ahead for them. They were a bit naive in their play. And again, players still adapting, I suppose, to the pace of the Premiership. And they were up against Liverpool that day. But gradually, over the last month or two, they have got better. And that's what you want for your team. That's what United manager want for his team the next few months. Can I get improvement in the team and adapt into the Premiership? The demands, physically, mentally. And again, when you look at Ipswich today, they looked decent. They look like they can deal with the ball. And their fitness levels were pretty good. No, let me tell you, put that in the mix. That's a good place to start.
You compare it to Southampton we watched earlier against Liverpool, and you go, well, they have an identified style, and you know they're pretty set on playing that way. Whereas Ipswich adapt. They're both in the bottom 3. Ipswich just. But you go and hang on a minute, which team looks more likely to stay up at the moment? You go Ipswich. And I can only see Ipswich, based on this performance that we've seen this evening, only getting better.
But he will play it down a little.
And he's completely, sure about the fact that he's okay with draws. Because he's okay to just keep picking up points and keep rolling, and he's.
But he'd still want 1 or 2 of them wins at home, won't he? Just because obviously there was a good atmosphere today. The fans are right behind him, obviously with the couple of seasons they've had. But he will still be desperate to get that 1 or 2 wins under his belt at home. Certainly.
And I think the running stats are really important to him as well. They're the top in terms of high intensity running. They will run more than any other team, and then at times they won't have the quality of the top teams. But I tell you what, they make you play under a lot of duress. They make you play at times when it's difficult, and if you don't quite get your passing right, they will catch you out. And I think that's credit to the manager that he wants his team to do that, and they all implement it and they all run hard.
Well, Ruben Amorim said it. He didn't quite go as far as giving us the cliche of there's no easy games in the Premier League, but that's what he was saying when he was talking to us. And the games that Man United have coming up are games in which they are all going to have to learn on the job. Yeah, and
again, the same for the manager. Managers come out from other leagues and they hear about the Premiership and they say, oh, it's going to be tough and it's 100 miles an hour stuff. But I still think he would have been shocked by today. I still think for an experienced manager, you look at the games coming up. Listen, for Man United, you're not going to say any really them. Do any of them look easy? Maybe the couple of European games don't look too bad, but in terms of the league games, listen, there's no guarantee Man United are going to turn up and win football matches because the lack of goal threat at the moment. They're not turning up scoring 2 or 3 goals today. We saw Liverpool today, who I didn't think played particularly well, and they scored 3 goals. So United are certainly under pressure at this moment in time. But credit to the manager, when he came out, he's very honest. He looked shattered, didn't he? Yeah. But you're like, welcome to the Premier League.
Well, he's had a long couple of weeks, hasn't he? He's just moved country, moved jobs,
like learned a whole new look. Jet lag with the other lads from America. Yeah, of course.
He said he hated sorry, go.
No, go.
He said he didn't like the sort of scrutiny and having to talk and all the press conferences. Unfortunately, when you're the manager of Man United, that's the price on the ticket. You've got to get used to that, and you've got to make sure you come out and you're ready for everything that gets thrown at you. And if you're not, then you're certainly at the wrong club.
It will be particularly busy over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but it won't change. Royal, you're manager of one of the biggest clubs in the world.
But he'd probably he wants some money to spend in January. That's the big. He's probably want 200 million to spend or to come this summer. But he will look at these players, and again, there's big problems there, big issues.
Well, I ask you, if you were to say in 6 months' time, how many of those players that we saw today will be starting? What would be your guess?
Yeah, well, listen, it's well and good talking about getting players in, but the other issue, obviously, is getting players out. That's going to be a big problem. But again, he's been there a week. Give me a chance.
And he's not quite at the negotiating for a transfer budget at this stage, one game into the season, but he might just be thinking about it at the moment. Look, there are managers on that list who have had money to spend and have had a lot of money to spend, and there's a couple of second place finishes in there, one under Solskjaer, one under Jose Mourinho. But since Sir Alex Ferguson, there hasn't been a Premier League title. So what would be coming in now at this stage of the season, coming in November, what would be success for him
for
this
Man
season,
United,
for Amorim?
I think, listen, good question again. Try and have
The thing with the title is, like, the title needs to be forgotten about for now, because if you want to get better, you've still got to leapfrog Aston Villa, Brighton, Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City. There's a lot of teams there who are doing exceptional things on the football pitch. Manchester United are a long way off that, so it's almost like, do they become a cup team? But that's what they've been.
That's what they've been, and in terms of their league position, their league form, we're looking again today. Man United are, at this moment in time, whatever the problems are an average Premier League team. Average. There's so many teams way ahead of them. Again, you've mentioned a few there. Yeah, there's a long way to go for this United team. Huge job for the manager, huge job, and again, we keep saying it. Listen, hopefully he can get it sorted.
Can he challenge for the top 6, do you think?
This season? Yeah, I think he can. I think there's a lot of inconsistency of all the teams. I think we're seeing it this season. Certainly, look at what Tottenham did to Manchester City yesterday, and then you'll see that Crystal Palace then can beat Tottenham, and there is going to be that. And if he finds the right team and the right personnel, there's no reason why they can't go on the run, because they will improve under him, because they've been rotten under the previous manager. But I think there will come improvements.
Lack of goals, though, Jamie. The lack of goals for the last couple of years.
But it only
It's
takes
hard to
one.
believe.
It only takes
But
one
which
person
one is
to
it?
catch. That's what I'm saying.
We've been waiting for 1 or 2 years for one player to step up and take control of that.
If you looked at that today and you said, okay, they're going to play that system, and your focal point is going to be Marcus Rashford as that number 9. Look, I didn't see that working today. I know we're judging him on one game, but there were times when the balls come in. If you look at the opposite side of the scale, where you look at the lap when it comes up to him and he's making himself a nuisance, he's getting hold of it, bringing people into play. That isn't Marcus's game. He wants to play off the side, and where it's a little bit easier and come in and shoot and do his thing. But as a number 9, he didn't look. I don't think going forward that's going to be a hard position for him to do if you wanted to bring people into play. I don't think that's his strengths.